In a family full of abolitionists, James Butler Hickok would be the only member of his immediate family to directly serve the Union cause. And ironically, he spent a considerable amount of time during the Civil War wearing Confederate uniforms. It was out of the question for Horace to enlist because he had to remain in Homer to maintain the family farm, and thus be the only means of support for his mother. Oliver may have sat on the war out the war entirely, living on the West Coast. Lorenzo continued working for companies with government contracts hauling freight, and thus ineligible for conscription. Bill was the only one of the four brothers to step forward and enlist, which he did in Leavenworth in July 1861. Because of his extensive travels, he offered himself as a scout. Being cannon fodder in the infantry was out of the question. He saw action rather quickly, a little too quick for his taste. Hickok was indeed selected as a scout, his first assignment being to accompany the force of 5,500 Union troops commanded by General Nathaniel Lyon. Their mission was to defeat a hastily reorganized Missouri State Guard led by General Sterling Price, who would wind up having one of the longest tenures of any Confederate general in the war. Virginia-born, he studied law and made his way to the west, arriving in Missouri. The battle at Wilson's Creek, in which he opposed Nathaniel Lyon, was his first major Civil War action, and its success made Price a Confederate hero. On August 10, 1861, what was essentially Missouri militia beat the Union forces, killing General Lyon. As with other periods in Hickok's life, there are gaps during the Civil War years, and thus it is not known whether what he did and where and when. You don't exactly know where he would go. Other times, when he was lured away from wagons or, better pay, simply were ordered to come back or report, Hickok was a scout for various Union Army detachments. This sometimes put him, as in the Battle of Wilson's Creek, in the line of fire. In March 1862, he served as a scout under General Samuel Curtis. By then, General Price and his troops were in the process of being pushed out of Missouri and would soon take refuge in Arkansas. There, he was reinforced by a 2,000-man force, led by General Earl Von Dorn. The combined command outnumbered Curtis, offering the Confederates an opportunity to gain ground in Missouri. But before the Confederate army could get there, Hickok and other scouts spotted them on the move. Curtis set up a defensive position on the Arkansas side, northeast of Fayetteville. On the 7th, Price attacked in the two-day battle, and that proceeded for a 2-day battle. Hickok was seemingly everywhere, riding between bullets to gather information to report to Curtis, as well as carrying dispatches from the general to the front lines. On that first day, he went through 4 horses, 3 given into exhaustion, and the other being shot out from under him. The fierce fighting took more of a toll on the attackers than on the defenders. One of the more famous deaths in the Civil War was recorded that day when Confederate General Ben McCulloch was shot by a soldier in the 36th Illinois Infantry. He exclaimed, "Oh, hell," and died. It is the way that the little exclamations or the little sayings that people have before they died. When he killed Tut yesterday, it was like, "Boys, I'm hit," and then he was gone. For this one, it was just like, "Oh, hell," and then he died. These last words that are being captured are quite interesting.